cigarettes and tobacco. And the way they do it is, it's rationed, like how you give a ration. It's rationed even in jails. They give you only n number of cigarettes, they'll give you n number of BDs, they'll give you n number of packets of tobacco for that week, for that day, that kind of stuff. So most psychiatric facilities, even hospitals, have a smoking facility for psychiatric patients. And in the past it was a lot more, because cigarettes are antidepressants. They work as an antidepressant on many levels. So psychiatric patients are allowed to smoke freely in psychiatric wards much before. Right now it's come down to where only de-addiction is to that particular part. And the way they do it is give you 5 cigarettes in the beginning. If you have been a heavy smoker, then cut it down over a period of time, we can make it 4, 3, 2, then stop. And also they use it as a tool where, if you make a mischief, if you do something wrong, then your cigarettes are stopped, the BD is stopped. If you're not complying to therapy, you're not attending counseling, you're making a mess with the counselor, stop the cigarettes, stop the BDs. And then probably you will comply. And it's highly illegal in that system for one person to give a BD to another person. If he does that, then his BD is stopped. So it is like nobody is willing to do that. Also there is trade, like how they trade it in jails. Like if I give you a BD, please do my work, do my duty. So it builds a system of community. But all this is in a controlled environment. You can control the number of cigarettes going in. You can control the number of cigarettes with a person. They have frequent checks to see if a person is hiding too many of them. To see if somebody is stocking up just tobacco, a lot of tobacco. It happens a lot. So this cannot work in an outpatient setup. You cannot control the number of cigarettes, no matter what. You cannot control the number of tobacco. But also it shows the severity of addiction and how much it has a psychological component. The thing is, it's so bad of dependency psychologically more than physically that a couple of the centers that I work for, they don't provide cigarettes. So the people there resort to doing some weird stuff like scrape tuna off the wall just to get the taste of tuna or tobacco. They'll scrape the paint, which is tuna based, put it in your mouth. It tastes like tuna. That's it. It doesn't give you any high. It's just that they miss the feeling. Then they would, tear pieces of paper, fold it, put it in your mouth and keep it in your gums, wherever it is. Just because they miss the feeling of that lump of tobacco being in their mouth. And when authorities find out that, they check the books to see anybody stone it. This kind of task that I had to do as a doctor over there is check books to see if they are tearing pages. So they always figure out a way. So they used to use the calendar sheets, whatever the old dated pages, they used to tear that up. So they don't get caught. And when there is like in one of the places that I work, they used to give the ration cigarette, like 5 cigarettes a day kind of stuff, to 1 cigarette a day. But the feeling is not, like 1 cigarette a day is not doing anything. So and they have a smoking zone. So people used to take off the butt of the cigarette after they smoke, take out the butt of the cigarette, break it into like 5 pieces. So they have something throughout the day to put in their mouth. It tastes like cigarette, but it is not giving you the high, but they miss the taste. So they would just do that, and they would actually give it to their friends who have, their cigarettes are stopped or cut down. So it is that level of psychological dependence. And how to combat that, I'll come later. As cigarettes are the most difficult to quit. Anybody would know. Average age for starting cigarettes or tobacco is like 12 and a half in India. By the age of 12, somebody is already trying cigarettes. somebody is already trying tobacco. And mostly from whatever testimony that I've heard, people will start stealing from home the cigarettes. If there's a smoker at home, they will steal that cigarette. And that kid will come down and with 4 other kids will smoke. It's a monkey see, monkey do kind of thing. So this actually is kind of a case that you would face in your OPD, and the management usually goes like, it's a 25-year-old male, IT, call center people always smoke. It is like, I think one of the eligibility criteria for getting into IT and call centers. But he wants to quit because his wife is pregnant. So when he tries to quit, the problem is he gets irritable. He cannot pass motions. We need that cigarette in the morning to pass motions. That's what he says. And he can't concentrate at work. So his pattern is at 11 o'clock in the morning he smokes. 10 o'clock he goes to work. At 11 o'clock he has to smoke because he's not able to concentrate. Thinking is not clear. So how do you usually treat a patient like this? What is your current practice that you use? Constant.
Then Nicotex, chewing gum.
Chewing gum. Yes. So you should ideally just have chewing gum wherever it feels irritable, pass motions and can't concentrate at work. Yes? That should work, you would think, but it doesn't. And a 35-year-old stockbroker smoking 2 packs of cigarettes, like 40 cigarettes. Well, the usual packs of cigarettes, that's the American and the European standard has 20 in them. That's why when you read in the textbooks, a pack of cigarette means 20. But in India, the practice is different. You get 10. So while asking for the pack of cigarettes in your history, you will have to ask how many in number. Like 1 pack is like 10 or 20. Makes a whole lot of difference when it comes. He wants to quit because he's scared that he'll get cancer. Somebody said he has leukoplakia, problem with that. His trigger is when he gets stressed out. Everybody sees that tension and smoke. And he's never tried to cut down. What would be your approach to this? Would it be the same Nicotex and patches and what else? So, he used to smoke 40 cigarettes and he can't essentially keep chewing gum all day. It has a very bad side effect. It causes gastritis, hyperacidity. Really, if somebody is not used to tobacco, it doesn't leave a very good sensation in your mouth. But people get addicted. We have IT professionals who come down and buy a whole strip of Nicotex. They are smokers, they smoke. But when they are at work, they need the gum. They got like a dual addiction going on right now. So, and then there is a 45-year-old construction worker. Gutka BD, and now he has a lung infection. So doctors asked him to quit. So, but I've seen this pattern a lot with gutka people and tobacco people. They even need it when they are sleeping. They will put in their mouth, sleep, and after they, after a couple of hours, when they are in heavy sleep, they'll take it out. Or they'll go wash them out at 3 o'clock in the morning and go back to sleep. So, how do you advise a patient like that? He obviously can't afford a nicotine patch, pretty expensive. And he can't afford just chewing Nicotex. Nicotex is pretty expensive when it comes in comparison to BD. So what do you think is the average cost of BD? It's like 15 rupees, 20 rupees. Depends. There are many types of BDs. Angur, so is the smaller Bengali type. There's Jadi BD. Then the local type, Shivaji BD, Sambhaji BD. All these.
Sambhaji.
So, it's very difficult to treat a patient like that. You can't give him nicotine patch. You can't give him garment patch. It's too expensive. He's not going to comply. Maybe he'll do it for a week. And he'll be like, my BD is more cheap. Why should I do this? So, what to do about him? We'll come back later. To tell you what the problem is, addiction per se is very much doing things repeatedly, even though you know the side effects, you know the negative effects, it's affected you negatively. If anybody had to ask you the definition of addiction, and you know there's multiples of definitions and there are multiple things that people will argue, it's very confusing to even stick to the definition of an addiction. But essentially, the core essence of addiction is, you know, it has caused negative impact in your life, and still you are addicted. Still you are doing the same stuff. So if anybody had to ask you what is, you know, with alcohol you can say, if you have so and so drinks, then you are probably addicted. Or if you are, you know, smoking so much, then probably you are addicted. You are not a user anymore, you are not a heavy user anymore, you are not a light user anymore. But when it comes to things like social media addiction, or when it comes to food addiction, sugar addiction, or when it comes to sex addiction, how would you define it? Because it becomes, you cannot classify it in any other way. You cannot say so and so hours is, you know, your addiction problem. So the basis of any addiction problem has to be repeated action despite negative consequences. You've lost your job because of alcohol, you still continue drinking. You have a court case, you're still drinking. You have a marriage in the morning and you're still drinking at night. That is addiction basically. When you know that you have probably a court hearing in the morning and you're drinking one night before, that is just a sign of addiction. Normal people don't do that. But if you're at work and you're smuggling in cigarettes into the kitchen, toilet, wherever it is possible, and still smoking, you know, you're trying to hide it a lot, then it is a proper addiction. And that applies to everything. So despite knowing the negative consequences, so you telling them that it's going to cause cancer, they know it. They're buying the packet every day. They're seeing it every day. You know, they're seeing a picture of a lamp being distorted and all that. Not really helping because they know the negative consequences. They probably have fights every day at home with their wife and mother about this, that, you know, smoking is bad for you, but you still do it. Because on a neocortex level, on the conscious decision level, it doesn't make a difference, because this is an animal thing for them to keep smoking. So usually, how do you know an addict? First thing in the morning, needs it for normal functioning. First thing in the morning, because it wakes him up, gives him the satisfaction of having slept pretty well. Needs it for normal functioning whenever at work, before work, or before doing a task, they would need it. Keep their minds clear, that's what they claim. Or for any sort of normal functioning, like going to the toilet. So normal function, which most people perform, but they need the cigarette for that. Then they will willing to commit offense, smoking in non-smoking zones, smoking in the airport, smoking wherever it's possible, which is not allowed. Also, they would go ahead to do it. And if the shops are closed, they would travel long distances to find a shop which might be open in the night. They will walk, and they will lose relationships if somebody tells them like smoking is bad for you. Stop talking to that person, or not stop hanging around that person, at least when they are smoking. Then not prioritizing health, obviously, because who cares about cancer? It's something that's going to happen 20 years later. So I want a smoke right now. And it is bad to the extent that people are in hospitals operated for cancer surgeries, but they still need a smoke. And they will ask the ward boy to smuggle it. And the ward boy does, he's getting $100 for one cigarette, he will do it. They still continue doing it. So health is not a priority. Most patients, like cold, cough, sore throat, tell them don't smoke, they will. Then risky behavior. So there is actually a score for dependency. I don't think anybody would usually practice it other than probably a psychiatrist. So that's actually my bachelor. So he'll tell you about the mischiefs that I've done in medical college. Please don't listen to him. And so if you're not conducting a real test, you just have to remember the basic stuff. Like, is he doing it in the morning? Is the first cigarette in the morning most difficult to quit for him? Things like, are you smoking where you're not supposed to be smoking? And has anyone ever told you to quit? It's a basic question in addiction, because they're not listening to it. And most of these questions you can cover by just asking these simple questions: how many you smoke in a day, what is your pattern, what is your trigger. But that's all good history taking, and this is more warning signs that are available, but people still don't follow.
Why do you do the test?
To determine to determine the level of dependence. How bad of an addiction? People say I smoke only 2 cigarettes in a day. I smoke 3 cigarettes in a day. But what are those cigarettes? Are they related where the functioning is concerned? Is it the first cigarette in the morning that he needs, the last cigarette in the night? Or is it the cigarette that he needs when he wants to go to the toilet? So that is again dependency. It's a high level of dependence. And that's very difficult to manage. Nobody just smokes 2 cigarettes or 3 cigarettes a day. What's the point? You can smoke a whole pack. But if he's needing it for regular function, then it shows a level of dependency, and that you can fix by any which way. And like I said, monkeys see, monkey too. Why do kids smoke? Because it's cool. This is the basic thing. You look at something very nice, a very nice cake with nice icing on it, somebody enjoying it. It feels like even if you do it, you will enjoy it. Yeah. So the image of the Marlboro Man, which is the most propagated image in the Western side, where a male, it's a symbol of males doing it, and it's not just any male. It is some male who's a rebellious person, someone who's working against authority, someone who's being a hero. So monkey see, monkey do kind of thing. That too is not a neocortex thing. Something in the animal brain. So we will see a lot of stuff, and they use it as a reason. They will tell you, Shah Rukh Khan smokes 100 cigarettes a day. He goes on paper and says that. So why can't I do it? And what would you say for that? You would say you're not Shah Rukh Khan. That's even though mildly offensive, but it's never going to work, because in his head he always thinks that he is Shah Rukh Khan, no matter what you tell him. It's kind of a delusion. So it's kind of cool. That's what they think. And everyone, we've all grown up seeing cigarettes in movies a lot. And because there were no warning signs back then, and it didn't make a difference. Warning sign never makes a difference to a person who's smoking, who's trying to smoke. You're just passing subliminal messages. But kids see all these cool stuff. They see they think it's cool.